The delivery of military supplies by the United States, this is evidence, it is a clear evidence that the cooperation that the Nigerian government talked about, that they said they needed, the assistance that they needed in dealing with the multiple threats that Nigeria faces on many fronts is real.
I wanted to pay attention. Let's watch this video together. There are a lot of things happening in our country, and these things are being discussed. Most of the time, if you are not in the news, you will not know actually what is going on. And there are different news channels that will not actually project everything. Pay attention. Let's listen to this discussion from Arise News on the issue of President Bola Tinubu and the equipment that came in from the US. Is it the right thing or the wrong thing? Let's just pay attention and watch this.
The delivery of military supplies by the United States, this is evidence, it is a clear evidence that the cooperation that the Nigerian government talked about, that they said they needed, the assistance that they needed in dealing with the multiple threats that Nigeria faces on many fronts is real. And the Americans themselves have said there is mutual partnership between Nigeria and the United States. And now African Command, US African Command, AFRICOM, as it is known, has now brought these supplies to support the Nigerian government.
The United States has delivered critical military supplies to Nigeria as part of ongoing efforts to strengthen bilateral security cooperation between the two countries. The delivery was confirmed by United States Africa Command, better known as AFRICOM, which oversees U.S. military operations across the continent. In a post on X, AFRICOM said the critical military supplies handed over to Nigerian partners in Abuja are in support of Nigeria's ongoing operations in tackling terrorism and banditry. It comes amid a broader security partnership between Nigeria and the United States. Well, AFRICOM has also pledged enhanced collaboration and support for Nigeria's National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, in its fight against illicit drugs. A senior AFRICOM delegation has met with NDLEA Chairman, retired Brigadier General Mohammed Marwa, commending the existing partnership and promising further assistance in capacity building and international cooperation. Philip Esk, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, that's DEA, liaison officer to AFRICOM, described the relationship between the NDLEA and the US DEA as not only a partnership but highly important to the US government.
Just pay attention.
Well, foreign policy certainly dominating the news this morning as Nigeria's president has told global investors that the country is looking for partnerships that go beyond resource extraction and deliver jobs and value at home. At the 2026 Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week on Tuesday, President Bola Tinubu said Nigeria is ready to do business as he announced a new trade agreement with the United Arab Emirates and outlined plans to attract billions of dollars in climate finance.
The president went to Abu Dhabi for a conference. The question we should ask is, all these conferences President Tinubu has been going to, what has he brought for Nigeria? In the space of last year, President Tinubu didn't travel, he traveled well over 40 times. Question is, how much have that brought? If you go and check the data of foreign direct investment, FDI, not announced propaganda FDI, real FDI that came in, I'm not sure since President Tinubu got it, it's up to 5 billion. 2023 maybe a little over 100 billion, a little over a billion. 2024 about that 1 billion mark.
Just pay
attention. It's been 1 billion each, and the president have been gone for well over 100 and how many days, Peter? We called it 190 days. The good thing is, yes, they signed an agreement with the UAE government. About 7,000 goods. There's going to be tariff free on all of that. Sort of like an AGOA-esque SEPA, they call it. All, as, ratified by the International Trade Law, GATT and the likes, which is all good. But the question is, we are signing trade deals. They are going to come to Investopia here. These are good signs. Jumoke Duwale work, could need kudos to her. But we are signing all of this. Vimbai, can single business people go to the UAE as we speak today? There are multiple visa restrictions between age 18 to 45. So can they enter the UAE as we speak today if they want to trade? So when will the president try to fix the visa restriction? But if we go back historically, you remember what happened. You remember how they say Dubai is back.
Just pay attention.
And you remember what we got from it. You remember all the false announcements in the early days of this administration. One too many mistakes. President Tinubu, a lot of Nigerians are suffering in Dubai. To get work visas, difficult. Even from Nigerians that want to go and work there, to get work visas, difficult. For those that want to do tourist, single people, difficult. There's an age cap for them. So it impedes businesses. I think these are the things we should be able to work on more than ever before, rather than all of this signing. And hope will be able to follow up with these agreements. You were talking about an agreement we signed last year that we've not followed up on now.
No. It's this SEPA that they have now signed a year later.
That they have now signed a year later. Okay, it took a year. So let's hope that about a year after, we will not be taking another year to be able to look at the implementation of this SEPA. And the question we should now ask, tariff-free goods between Nigeria and UAE. Who is going to get the balance of trade and the balance of scale?
Just pay attention.
What is the quality of the products we have to give? Are these goods high return goods? Is it that we are going to use this opportunity to pack our raw materials there, or we are going to add value? I think these are multiple questions we need to answer. I yield.
Okay, first let me start with the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, January 11 to January 15. The outcome that we have seen there is Nigeria signing what they call a comprehensive agreement with the UAE, Economic Pact with the UAE. And two statements in that regard. One coming from Dr. Uduwale Dimiti, that's the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. We call that minister, the Minister Miti in our time. Now, then you have the statement from the President also saying that, look, this is an investment drive and we've been able to get some opportunities. Now, the agreement signed are in the areas of trade, real estate, digital banking, and also, what else is it? Yeah, infrastructure financing. And of course, there's that statement from Dr. Duwale, a very lovely statement about the opportunities that will come to Nigeria. About 7,000 Nigerian goods, particularly in the area of agriculture, will become tariff-free. Nigerian businesses will now have the opportunity to access the UAE market and set up businesses. Nigerian businessmen have now been given the opportunity to spend 90 days in a year, just like that, in terms of visa access. So visa access was also addressed. And in other words, both countries, in a mutually beneficial arrangement, can also invest in Nigeria. And Nigeria can send more goods to the place. Okay, it all looks so nice. In February, the president says Nigeria is going to co-host what they call Investopia, from the title itself. It's about investments. However, what I found interesting in the statement by Dimiti is a statement about swift implementation. She devoted a paragraph to swift implementation. And that is where I think the rub is. In this country, we sign plenty of memoranda of cooperation, memorandum of understanding, memorandum of whatever, of commitment, whatever title they use. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has a desk that is devoted to cooperation, whether it's technical aid corps or multilateral agreements or bilateral agreements. The point I was making yesterday is that desk in that directorate in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is weak. It's not enough to just sign memoranda. If you go to where they keep memoranda of understanding or whatever in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I'm sure they don't have space anymore. And most of them have not been actuated. Because some people in that ministry are just absent-minded. And I was saying that it's not a personal task for the president. And I was speaking from knowledge, from understanding, as somebody who has been within that corridor.
Just pay attention.
Now, those desk officers have to do their job. After these documents have been signed, there should be follow-up. There should be advice to the government of the day, the policy leaders. There should be, study, review, and then eventually impact assessment. We can't keep going about signing cooperation agreements and we don't see results. That is where the challenge is. No matter how beautiful, the statements that we're getting either from the president or Dr. Duwale may sound. If there is no follow-up, if there is no follow-through, then it will just be like they went to Abu Dhabi to have a photo opportunity, or that they went on a jamboree, which is a popular phrase that many critics of the government use in this particular regard. So when we see the results, when we see the follow-through, we will believe that this is of benefit, truly, to the Nigerian people, as both Dr. Duwale and President Tinubu tried to point out. Now, the delivery of military supplies by the United States, this is evidence, this is a clear evidence that the cooperation that the Nigerian government talked about, that they said they needed, the assistance that they needed, in dealing with the multiple threats that Nigeria faces on many fronts is real. And the Americans themselves have said there is mutual partnership between Nigeria and the United States. And now African Command, US African Command, AFRICOM, as it is known, has now brought these supplies to support the Nigerian government. the mutual interest that is there is that the Americans themselves do not want, the Sahel region or West Africa to be turned into a hub, into a playground for, global terrorism networks. And so it's a question of shared interest.